Hey there, my name is Chanel Scott, and I am your host of this episode 11 of Directions from Your Spiritual Tour Guide podcast. Today, let me tell you a little secret. Mindset actually works. Yep, it does. This has been such an overwhelming theme over the last little while that I couldn't resist but to do an episode about mindset. It really is this magical thing that seems completely irrelevant and silly, but at the same time, it absolutely works. So why wouldn't we do more of it? Shifting your mindset can shift your entire life. And I thought I would start with a story, because I love being able to share my personal experiences with you, to be able to show you the work that can be done and how it shifts and changes, and literally how it can be a single moment that changes everything. And for me in this first story, that's exactly what happened. I have 3 kiddos. And after my second kiddo, I got incredibly sick at 6 weeks postpartum. I ended up with a strep infection in my bloodstream, which sent me septic and caused a blood clot in my ovarian artery. As well, I had a severe case of pneumonia. If I even took the oxygen out of my nose for a second, the alarms would go off that my oxygen stats had dropped so badly. I was incredibly sick, and at one point they thought they were going to lose me. I was rushed from urgent care. I remember coding on the CAT scan, waking up someplace completely different. I remember the bumpy ride in the ambulance as I was rushed from urgent care to a local hospital to the ICU. Knowing that I was not aware of how sick I actually was, but the people around me were absolutely aware of how sick I actually was. I don't remember a lot in the first week or so of everything, and a lot of it was a complete blur, and I know I was passed out for a lot of it, but I do remember the ICU nurse saying to me, there is a moment when you have to just choose to get better. And if you don't choose to get better, nothing is going to change. And I honestly can't remember her name or what she looked like, but I remember her kindness. And every time I remember it, my heart swells, because it was the simplest gesture of kindness that saved my life. And yes, Western medicine had a huge part in saving my life. Don't get me wrong. It absolutely did. But that woman and what she did for me in that moment was changed the direction of where I was headed. She said to me, you have to choose. And in that moment, I did. She said, I can help you, but you have to tell me how. And I remember, and as clear as day, saying, I have this terrible taste in my mouth. And I was on hardcore IV antibiotics around the clock that left a horrible taste in your mouth. And it was just one more thing, because I was in complete pain from head to toe. I couldn't breathe. Everything felt overwhelming. And that was just kind of like the tip of the iceberg that at least the rest of it I could kind of explain, but I didn't know why I had this terrible taste in my mouth. And she said, hold on. She grabbed her purse. She took a package of gum out and she said, here you go. And I'll bring you more if you need more. And I chewed a piece of gum and it tasted so much better than what the taste in my mouth was. And I did learn later, after I had baby number 3, they put me on IV antibiotics. While I was in hospital, I had to stay for 4 days. Even though I had like a dream birth, I was stuck there for 4 days on IV antibiotics because the attending in OB happened to be the student at the time, the resident at the time that I had gotten very sick, and she remembered me. She's like, I know you, and I was on your file, and you're not leaving. So I was on IV antibiotics for 4 days in the hospital after having my daughter. And it was funny because I said to the nurse right away, I know what this is, and can I have a juice or a ginger ale or something to drink every time you bring it to me? And she did. Every nurse was so kind and brought me a drink to go with my IV antibiotics so that I didn't have to deal with that taste in my mouth. And it wasn't as bad as it was when I was sick because I didn't have to take as much of it. But that really, truly was the moment that things shifted and I started to get better. And it really was simple. It really was just that decision that I made that shifted everything, that saved my life ultimately, because I chose to get better. I felt so awful and so miserable that there was this heaviness that I just couldn't get out of because I felt so bad and had felt so sick for so long. It was almost a week before I was admitted to the hospital of being incredibly sick, of thinking that I had like a raging flu bug, but in turn, it was something way more serious in the long run of things. The point of that story is that we can make simple decisions, simple choices in our life that will shift everything. And then when we actually feed that, which I did in that moment, it also keeps that energy moving and shifts and changes things. Now, of course, I have to caveat here and say, I totally recognize that there are mental health disorders that are chemical in the brain, and I firmly believe this, even as a spiritual healer, that need medication and greater interference to be able to contend with. That things like mindset shift is not enough to fix them. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. But know that I know this. I'm not asking you to like turn to God and think that that's the answer to everything. But I do think that mindset is a powerful tool that you have to change your life. And we all have the option, the choice of mindset. We can all move in a direction where we choose to get better. Yes, we may need more tools than that, but it is a huge part of it. And when we really believe and when we really step into it, the universe will give us validation that we are moving in the right direction and that simple mindset change is powerful. And I've seen it in my own life over the last handful of weeks, including today, universe giving me validation of the things that I needed to hear, the things that I needed so that I could keep going forward with power of positivity and really step into the mindset that I need to be able to do the work that I do. This message of mindset has come up with so many people over the last few weeks. I really felt like it was important to address this and to talk about this because I feel like it's one of those really simple spiritual aspects that we kind of act like it's this big thing, and it's not. Like, anybody can do it. The reality is that the law of attraction states that where we send our focus, our energy flows to it. That's the simplicity of the law of attraction. Where your focus is, your energy goes. Plain and simple. So when you think about the law of attraction and you recognize mindset, we can see how it works. If you want to focus on the negative, on why it's not working and how hard it is to do, guess what you're going to create? You're going to create more of that. You're going to create more heaviness, more work, more failure, because that is where your focus stands. Whereas if you focus on the positive, on the little steps that you can take, on the dream, on the power of positivity, on where you want to go, that's where your energy goes. So doesn't it make sense that we focus on where we want to go instead of what we don't want? Yes, it is that simple. It is that simple. I didn't say it was easy. I am quite the toter of spirituality is simple. It doesn't mean that spirituality is necessarily easy. Yes, it's hard work to stay in that mindset. And I fall off the wagon and get back on it and fall off the wagon and get back on it all the time. I have to do shadow work. I have to do soul work to be able to stay in that place of a powerful mindset, in a place where I can create instead of wallow. But you can too. Where do you send your focus? What is it that you focus on? Where are you putting your attention? And then ask yourself if that's where you want to be. I don't know how to make this intricate, crazy, long podcast, because the reality is, the real talk is, it's not that difficult. You just have to figure the tools for you that help you to shift your mindset. And there's tons of them out there. I am a big fan of journaling because I find it really helpful. And when I say journal, I don't necessarily mean sit there in my diary and write about my day. I do automatic writing, I do channeling, I do connecting to myself. I ask myself questions and then, write the answers to it. Maybe one way is when the feelings and the emotions come up of the negative stuff. Can you write it down? Can you write down your fears and your worries? And then can you take a step back from that and look at it and try to detach emotionally from it? And in that place of detachment, can you look at worst scenario versus best scenario? And can you then just look at the best scenario and the positives that could come out of this if you just focused on the good stuff? Another fun one I like is actually doing like a fake journal entry where you actually sit down and you talk about, achieving your dreams or going on that perfect date with that perfect person or, a really special day that you had. And you're making it all up. You get to just dream the dream and write it all down. And kind of feel those emotions and live that for a moment, even if it's not true. But maybe it will become true. I did that when I was trying to manifest my husband. I had made this beautiful list of all the things that I wanted in a man, in a partner. And that's part of manifesting and mindset as well. You can create lists about, how you want to feel with someone, what kind of person are they? And I had done all of that. And then somebody had suggested this journal writing and I did it. And it was shocking that as we were dating, these things that I had written about were coming to life. And not exactly how I had written them, just there was moments where I was like, wait a second. I wrote about that or that. And it was incredible how it was like the universe validating for me that he was the one. Sometimes mindset shift is simply that fact of like when the things come up in your mind that you don't want to be thinking of, you have like a mantra or an intention that you say to shift your energy. Meditation's also a great way to shift your mindset. You could do guided meditation to change your mindset and really focus around a positive aspect or, again, a theme or mantra that you want to think about. Or simply having a meditation practice where, maybe you go to your happy place, or again, like the journal entry, you go to a place or have a thought process on, achieving your dreams and what that feels like and what that looks like. Seeing it in like complete detail, your dream life or whatever it is, and really feeling the emotions that come along with that and holding that vision in your mindset. There's so many different things you can do to be able to shift and change. I have mantras written down, intentions, quotes that help me to stay in that mindset. My Soulful Mystic Journal or day planner that I made, it's actually a weekly planner. One of the aspects that I put in that was every page has some kind of inspirational quote. So when you open it, there is that inspiration there to have each and every week, each and every month. Literally every blank page, like there is quotes everywhere, like not quotes, sayings, like things that kind of inspired me. I put in there. Each and every week, there is an inspiring word at the end of the week to help inspire you and ignite some kind of energy or emotion. I created spaces like in the month calendar. This month I will. And every month I sit down and I do that. This month I will. And I think about the things that I want to achieve. And often they're just like mental, emotional, spiritual kind of things, not necessarily like things that I actually want to create or make. I want to be strong this month. I want to stand in my boundaries this month, whatever it is. So the Soulful Mystic Planner was created specifically just for that. I was tired of ordering planners from the States that gave me everything that I needed, because there's lots of blank space in there as well. The days, 7 days a week, go from 6 a.m. to 10:30 p.m., which was important to me because I don't work on a regular schedule. So lots of things with that. And even that, there was a moment where there was a decision made to make that. And it was a bit of a bumpy road until I hit a certain point where I set boundaries and really decided what I was going to do, what I wanted to create. And when I really held that vision, all of a sudden it was exploding out of me. Along with that, I have the companion workbook, which is all about mindset. It's about creating your dream life. And it's giving an overhaul this year. The 2023 edition is going to be a little bit different than what they've looked like in the past handful of years. So I'm super excited that Spirit has been very strong in the way that it has to be done. And it's not finished yet, so I haven't unveiled it yet, but it's coming. But again, it's a workbook to create a mindset, to create an energy, to move you towards that dream life, creating a way of being that brings you joy and happiness in almost every day, right? We can't have it every single day, but maybe we could. Yeah, I could go on and on for days, I think, talking about the power of it, the power of just shifting your mindset and how incredible it can change everything in your life. Proud mama moment. I'll just share one more. Proud mama moment. My son said one day that one of his friends said to him, "Yes, so what? Everybody else thinks. Who cares what everybody else thinks? Why does it matter? Can't you just be yourself?" And my son took that to heart, and I noticed a major shift in him. And it was incredible when he shared that with me, that somebody else said to him, "Just be you." And he said, "Okay." And I feel like that's how I've raised my kids, I hope. I feel like I've given the tools to them to really stand up and be themselves and to be empowered to be who they are. And I know that it always lands differently from our peers but I hope that I had planted that seed that when he had heard that, he just was like, yeah. To me, that was incredible. And he's definitely shown up differently since then. He doesn't necessarily care what other people think in a judgment kind of way. Yes, of course he cares what other people think because he's a kind and loving little soul, big soul. He's not so little anymore. But there is that thing that I feel like I really embraced in high school and really like lived for. I didn't care what other people thought about my clothes or my hair, which I know, really short, but in high school, I had hair down past my bum. Poker straight, no bangs, hair down past my bum. Same color. We don't mess with the color. But I didn't care what other people thought of me. It wasn't important to fit in with the crowd. I wanted to be who I was and be me. And I feel like I've been able to carry that through and really embrace that over my life. And it's been such a gift. And I hope it's a gift that my children also get to have. So yeah, that was my last story about mindset, because I really feel like that shifted his school experience in a really positive way. And mindset can shift yours too. So those are my stories about mindset. Maybe share your stories about mindset in the comments. I'd love to hear from you and how mindset has shifted your life. Maybe we'll do another podcast about it and have some guests to talk about it. That'd be amazing too. You want to be a guest on my podcast? I haven't had a guest yet. That'd be kind of fun, right? Thank you for being here and sharing with me today about mindset, listening to my stories and talk about my Soulful Mystic Planner. I'm really excited. 2023 editions are kind of in their final edits and will be coming soon. You can pre-buy them. They're on pre-sale. And when I say sale, they're at a discounted rate right now. So if you want to get your Soulful Mystic Planner, get it soon before the prices go up. They will be delivered mid-October. Free for pickup in Hamilton, Dundas, Ancaster, Brantford, Milton, St. Thomas, and London, Ontario areas, or shipping is additional. You can get the 2023 Soulful Mystic Weekly Planner, or you can get the companion workbook, or you can get them as a set. If you want to see what the planner looks like, jump over to my social media. There is a video about it there where you can see a little bit of the inside and the details that are there. So Divine Map membership is also open if you are interested in diving deeper into things like manifestation and mindset, oracle card reading, mediumship, meditation, yoga. That is the membership for you. It is still at the founder's rate of $29 a month Canadian at this moment. Doors are going to close soon for enrollment, so get in at that founder's rate. It will be the last time that I offer it at that rate because there is a lot of information and value in that portal. I will say October will be mentorship month, and I have 2 unique mentorship opportunities to work with me and maybe even get a personal reading while you're learning in the month of October. So check that out. Thanks everybody for being here and listening. I am so grateful. Thank you for being part of my spiritual journey and allowing me to be your spiritual tour guide. From my heart and soul to yours, have an amazing day.